In 1997, I was released from Broad River Correctional Institution in Columbia, South Carolina. The night before I was released, I told myself, I said, self, you've given almost 10 years of your life to incarceration. Between jail and between prison time, it's almost added up to 10 years. And I made an oath to myself at that time that I would never come back to prison again. When I came home, I was confused. I didn't know really which direction to go in. I knew that I wasn't gonna put myself in a position to go back to prison, but I didn't know what was gonna happen for me. When I first got locked up, which was like 1986, there was an OG in there, you know, what you call him, the old head. And I remember him saying, look, you done messed your social security number up and you done messed your government name up. So I'm telling you what you gotta do from now on. You gotta be an entrepreneur. So whatever you do, you gotta work for yourself from now on. So that was like his wisdom of him being an old man to the younger generation. And I always remembered that because he was right. Because ever since that happened, that was like 1986. Every time I tried to get a job, I had several girlfriends that were in the corporate world. And they would always try to give me a job, and I never could because of my government name and my social. Once you get in trouble, society doesn't really respect you anymore. They don't look at it like you made a mistake. Yeah, I tried to get a job working for an electric company, working for cable, working for all these things, but I would always make it past different people, but never HR. They would always say, sorry, HR said no. And I would always be discouraged, and that made me go into the hood and hustle. One of my friends told me before I got out, he said, well, it's only two things right now that I feel like are the biggest money makers. And he said that's marijuana, and that's the black market business, the piracy of music and film. When I came home, those are the only two options that I had. And those are the two options that I ventured out for. So I went to New York, and I left Columbia, South Carolina, to meet up with some Jamaicans that I knew. And I knew that they would have the best prices for me, and they would have the best thing for me. So when I went to New York, one of my friends, my man Dog, you know, he forced me to go out. Because at that time, I had just came home. I really wasn't into hanging out. Like, I had no plans on going to nightclubs. Like, my life was just burnt out. I had already did my thing. So Dog says, nah, you're gonna go out tonight. We got in the whip, and I'm driving. So I went to take out a CD to put in another CD. And right when I went to put the CD in, a commercial came on the radio. And it jumped out inside the car. And it was to the effect of, yo, you think you got what it takes to be in the business? Well, Hype Williams wants to meet you. New feature film. Bam, 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 bam. So at that moment, I said, yo, a film? Movies? So my man Dog said, yo, Kev, you should go to that. You can do that. You a movie. And then my man in the back, my man Cat, was like, yo, every time I see a movie, I'm like, yo, my man MICAAL can do this way better. And I was like, then I told myself, I was like, self, we gonna do this. So I went to the open call. When I went inside, I immediately retreated from the open call because there was a sister that came outside and said, this is the last call. Anybody that is auditioning today, this is the last call. I actually made it there at the last moment. Now I had already walked down the block and already passed people with their heads down and people that were very sad. So I was kind of intimidated actually about the whole situation. But what broke my trance was the sister that came out and said, anybody that's auditioning. And I remember when she handed me the paper, she kind of like looked me up and down. So I'm like, what's up with her? But I didn't know. She was a casting director. When I was incarcerated, one of my favorite shows was America's Most Wanted. There was an episode where John Walsh went to Fort Lauderdale. He was in Dade County, and they had a problem trying to get several people that were warrant. So what he did was they put all these fictitious flyers offering big jobs, offering a lot of money, and basically they got all these people to come there. And when I'm watching this episode, they're hiding behind like fake walls, and they're like literally laughing because they're seeing all the guys they've been warning. So I immediately, my instincts kicked in, and I slipped the paper in my back pocket, and I tried to retreat out of the door. And that's when the sister popped up again and said, hey, excuse me, aren't you auditioning? And I said, nah. I was just bringing my man, because I actually brought one of my cousins with me. So I was like, nah, I'll just bringing him. And then she gave me so the sister says, look, I know what you are, and I know what you do. And if you keep doing what you do, you're gonna go back where you've been, or you're gonna go somewhere where you can't come back from. And a chill went through my body, and I froze. And at that moment, there was the street, and there was the business. That was one of the biggest decisions I ever made in my life. Because the subliminal message was, yo, MICAAL, here's the street, and here's what got you everything that you got. This is what got you stabbed. This is what got you shot. This is what got you incarcerated. You know what I'm saying? Because there's two feelings that I don't like. It's the feeling of them telling you to turn around, and when they put cuffs on you, there is a moment of, it's game over. And there is a moment of, I'll be out of here tomorrow. I didn't want that feeling no more. That hurts. That woman was my angel. And I owe everything to that woman. Because if she wouldn't have said what she said to me, I would have went outside, I would have waited on my cousin to come out, I would have went to see my Jamaicans, and I would have went back down south. That's what I would have did, but I didn't do that. I listened to her, and I proceeded to continue with the open call. The open call consists of the director, Hype Williams, which if they showed me 20 people, I wouldn't have known who Hype Williams was, and the writer, Anthony Bowden. They both were there. And you proceed to the X, and they spar with you. They just felt you out. And the first question was, what's up? Where you from? I said, peace. My name MICAAL. I'm from the Veldt. I'm from Roosevelt, LI, Nassau. They was like, okay. What do you do? I said, I hustle. So they kind of like gigged on me, like, you hustle? Like, everybody hustle. What you mean you hustle? I was like, yo, I get money. It was like, what you mean you get money? How you getting money? I said, I'm down south getting money. My whole life I've been down south getting money. It was like, where down south? I was like, I get money in Columbia, South Carolina, in the metro. So it was like, okay. We had a few name drops. Next thing you know, we had a few things in common. And all of a sudden, I heard them say, yeah, I like him. So they put the thumb up, and they told me to go this way. The whole time I was there, like, nobody went that way. Everybody went that way. So, the whole production team, which was like, they were all, delighted. They took several pictures of me from different angles. And I'm like, wow. I went from mug shots, to, production shots. People were taking multiple pictures of me. And they gave me some lines, and they said, look, you're going to learn these lines. and you're gonna come to this address for the audition. And the paper said, congratulations, you've been selected to audition for Hype Williams' film Belly. I just walked out of there, and it was a triumph. It was victorious. And I was like, wow, this is the first thing that I ever did that was legit. I just really was excited. The rude awakening of the industry approached me. I'm sitting here at this first audition, and I'm in a room full of my #1 rapper, one of my greatest actors, and I'm like, hey, how y'all doing? And each person looked at me like, what you talking about, Willis? Like, I mean, I wasn't trying to carry on a conversation. I was just merely like, hey, and they were just like, and I was like, wow, like I purchased your stuff, and like you can't even fake like you like me right now, like be like, what's happening? But it gave me more fuel, it gave me more fire to like go in there and do my thing. That's why you never assume somebody. You never judge a book by their cover, because I was thankful to be put in that kind of position, and I was hungry. I was very hungry, and I put myself in a position to better myself. So I was taking this serious. So when I went in, I thought I did wrong because I felt the energy in the room, but it was because I did well. And I did so well, I knew my lines without needing my paper. And at the time, as being a rookie and still wet behind the ears, I didn't know that meant a lot. Because when somebody gives you lines, everybody has to basically hold them in the audition. I didn't need my lines. So my first audition went very, very well. And I was selected for a second audition, and then a third audition, and then a fourth audition. And the phone call came, and it was like, hey, MICAAL, this is Big Dog Productions, and we would like to congratulate you. You've been selected for the role of Killer in Hype Williams' film Belly. And I was like, wow. Wow. Like, yeah. I was like, yo, you don't understand. It was like, man, it was like everything for that. It was just like that moment was just incredible. And I told myself, I said, see, you made a conscious decision to do the right thing. And you put your best foot forward to do the right thing. And right after I got selected for Belly, I got a phone call for a movie called Love Goggles. I don't know where it came from. Somebody said, hey, I heard you're a cool guy, you're in the game, you know, we want to put you in this film. It's called Love Goggles. And I said, okay, cool. So I went to the movie Love Goggles. My first day on set was a film called Love Goggles. It was amazing, and it was just like, wow, I'm in the business. Now, in the midst of auditioning for Belly, I met a lot of people, a lot of rappers, a lot of entertainers, and they was feeling my style. Like, yo, they were inviting me to parties, like, and it was incredible because to this day, I'm always blown away by people that are celebrities or people that's in powerful positions that cling to me, and they just feel my rhythm, and they give me opportunities, and they don't even know that nothing about me. And that's incredible how, but they know I'm official. And then when they find out things later, it's like, wow, but you chose me off my rhythm. So on the set of Love Goggles, I get a page, and it's Jim Jones saying, yo, Cam throwing this video called Horse and Carriage. Want you to come through. And I'm like, Killer? Horse and carriage, Mason better. We gonna rise to the top. I went to do my first music video, Horse and Carriage. And I had a ball. And I got cut in the frame. I didn't know what that meant at the time. So this is how I know what it meant. I'm on the train in Manhattan, and these kids is sizing me up like, yo, ain't you in that Killer Cam video? And I'm like, yeah, you seen it? And they like, yo, you was killing it. And I'm like, wow. So in the midst of my travels amongst the 5 boroughs, people was like on it. So next thing you know, my phone goes off again. And it's a casting director calling me. It says, hey, MICAAL, would you be interested in doing a video for Jay-Z? I was like, wow. She said, yeah, the song is called Hard Knock Life, and I need some basketball players. I was like, wow. I was like, Jay-Z? Sure. She says, and I said, do you need any more basketball players? Because you know me, I got raised up knowing like, yo, you help others. So I knew a few ball players, and she said, you know what? Actually, yeah, I can use some ball players. I said, well, how many do you need? She said, well, you're my first call. I said, okay, well, she said, well, I need nine more. I said, done deal. She said, are you kidding me? I said, no, I can give you 9 basketball players. So she says, all right, fine. But then she called me right back and said, I need only 8 because I promised one of my friends I would give him a slot. No problem. So I went to my neighborhood, I went to the park, and I told all the top ball players, I was like, yo, look, got this Jay-Z video. It was like, word, Jay-Z. I booked 8 of the best basketball players in my neighborhood. I also found out a thing when I did this. In this business, people have either a fear of failure or a fear of success. And I say that because the morning of the shoot, the 8 basketball players were ghosts. Called them, no answer. Paged them, no answer. Knocked on their doors with the cars outside, no answer. I said, damn. Check on my boys. So I go to my man Dog's house, and guess who's there? 8 of my homies, 8 of my real brethren, 8 of my people that I should have booked initially. But I tried to go, you know, to get the dream team, but you know what? That would have made it whack. It actually worked out better by bringing Dog in them because that's what they were looking for, a real project game with that kind of feel. So it worked out actually better the way it worked out. So anyway, I get to Dog's house, and it's eight of them there that's really my people. So I said, yo, y'all, we going to Marcy. They was like, ain't nobody going to Marcy. And I was like, yeah, we going to Marcy. He was like, we going to do a video for Jay-Z. His face was like, word? So we get to Marcy, we pull up, find the video shoot. So the first time I met Jay-Z, I got to the video shoot. I checked in, said, yeah, the basketball players are here. And they said he was shooting the beginning of the video, which is the deli scene. This is my word. When I turned the corner and looked into the bodega, I got blinded. And then he came out of the glistening, and I was like, yo, Jay, what's happening? My name is MICAAL. I'm here, I'm one of the basketball players. So he smelled me. He leaned back, he smelled me, and he was like, all right, what's happening? He was like, yo, shooting this scene right now. Give me a minute, I'll holler at you. Straight business. Shocked, like, wow, that's Jay. So all my boys was like, dogging them was like, yo, you just touched Jay-Z. I was like, yo, that's Jay, yo, he right there. So the day proceeds to go on. And my role changed in the video. For some reason, somebody came up to me and said, hey, MICAAL, there's been a change. So I'm like, what? They're like, Jay and them don't want you to be a basketball player. They want you to be one of Jay's homies. I was like, word? What do you mean Jay's homies? Like, we got this scene that they're gonna be on the stoop. And we want you to be one of the stoop guys. So I was like, a stoop scene? Like, I mean, it was like, yeah, it's gonna be a featured scene. It's gonna be you and Jay, and you're gonna be on the stoop. He's gonna be doing front flower seeds, and I'm like, wow. So, for some reason, I picked up the phone. I called a friend of mine. I said, yo, what's happening, Mom? She was this model I was dating at the time. So I called her and was like, yo, look, I'm in Marcy right now. I need to borrow some money. She was like, for what? I said, they just gave me this scene in Jay-Z's video. She was like, you kidding me? I was like, yeah. She said, and they going to put me, but I'm athletic out. I need to get fly. She jumped in the cab from Park Slope, Brooklyn, and came over and pulled up in the cab and handed me $500. So I went to Tom, Dick, and Harry, and I got fly. Went back to the shoot, and I walked into Jay's trailer. Security let me in. I said, yo, Jay, is this cool? Showing the outfit, and he says, he gave me the blank stare, right? And he says, yo, you think this your video, Playboy? I was like, oh, shit. He's like, nah, I'm just playing with you. Yo, you official, you look fly. I was like, all right, cool. So Jay gave me the stamp, and we go set up the scene. I'm sitting down the stoop with Jay-Z. Everybody's around me. All these people with lights, and they're doing all this stuff, taking pictures and everything. And right when we get ready to shoot the scene, a car pulls up, blaring music. And it's Dame Dash. He jumps out the whip. He's like, yo, what's going on? Blah, blah, blah. He kicked it with the people, and he says, so where we at? And they said, we getting ready to do this scene. So they go huddle up. Then this white dude comes over to me and was like, hey, MICAAL, sorry. Some things have changed. They're gonna move you out and I'm gonna put Dame in. So I kind of was like, all right. And I sat back and they let Dame get in there. And that's the scene I was supposed to have been in. But it was all good. I ain't sweat it. It was nothing to me. So they moved me around and we did a dice scene. And I actually made the cut in the video, so it was cool. So after we did our scene, I went to see my cousin and Dog and them do their scene, and they're the basketball players. And that's my man Dog that's playing D up on my cousin with his jewels all out, like what? All up in the camera. So it was a good day for us. And that video put us really on like the map. So right after I did that video, I got a phone call for DMX's video. The first day of shooting, the writer and one of the producers was like, MICAAL, come in. They was like, yo, D, come in. So I'm like, D. So they was like, yo, D, this the nigga I was talking about. So D goes, uh-huh. And he looks at me. And he's like, what's happening, family? I'm like, I'm good. He's like, yo, I want to build with you. I'm like, huh? He's like, yo, come back to my trailer when we finish this shot. Like, all right. So after the shot, we go to DMX's trailer. But at the time, he played this little trivial game with people. Like, when people came around us, he would throw questions at you that really has no answer. It's just how you feel about it or how you see it. And that would determine if you were able to be around him or not. And I saw so many people fail that test. So it was like I did Belly, I did the Cameron Horse and Carriage, did the Jay-Z Hard Knock Life, and the DMX Rough Rider Anthem. Those 4 projects showed me, MICAAL, you can do this. Look at you. People were confronting me that were like, nobody ever makes the cut in videos. Like, everybody hits the editing floor. Like, that's just the norm. Like, you know, and I was taking it for granted. I was like, well, I'm only in it for a second. It was like, do you know how huge that is? And I was like, no. So a lot of things started coming to me, and I said, MICAAL, this is it. So those 4 projects showed me the game, and it let me know I can do this. And with the mind of a leader and with Powerful, I just smashed. I just went off. I said, yo, I'm going to do this. And my grandmother, God bless her soul, Lena Bell, always told me, be 1 hour early. She said, when you 1 hour early, you are on time. And I said, I'm going to make sure I'm on time. And that, being on time, helped me get so much. And I started just doing videos, movies. I did the movie Ice Grill, you know, and that was big for me. Ice Grill was major. It took over New York. It was just so many opportunities, and I took advantage of everything. I went pedal to the metal. I was diligent. I was resilient. I was hungry. You know, I wanted to show my friends and family, you know, I wanted to show myself. I was proud. So I attacked the industry, and it just started opening up for me. I was in Trace magazine. You know, it was like I had opportunities to be a part. I went to 3 auditions at Wilhelmina Talent. 3 auditions. It was incredible. And do you know why I didn't get in Wilhelmina Talent? I made a conscious decision to be myself in this business. I said, I'm gonna be myself. I wanna be other people, but I'm comfortable being me. And there was enough work for me to be myself. So after my 3rd audition at Wilhelmina, they said, we can get you work as an actor. So I said, okay. They said, you have to learn a scene from a movie. What's one of your favorite movies? And I said, Juice. She was like, no, I mean something else. I was like, yeah, Juice. She was like, anything else? She said, what about A Raisin in the Sun? I was like, what is A Raisin in the Sun? She said, you have to learn at least 3 minutes of this movie, and we want you to do this movie. I said, okay. I said, well, can I pick my own? She said, well, I think you should stick to this. So what do? Go rent those movies. I put them on. I'm like, what? So I throw in Juice. So today, I learned my best scene. When Tupac's in the window, he's like, you know we ain't shit, right? That's the scene I did. So I learned that scene. Go to Wilhelmina. The whole staff is there. It's a big thing. It reminds me of like when a rapper, like when I watch Kanye and Jay and them, well, really Kanye, and they go to like the label and they're there on the table and everybody's there and they're rapping. It reminded me of that. So that's what I did. So I go in there, everybody's there smiling. They have the cameras on and they press go. It's a scene where Tupac says, you know, he's like, you think you ain't shit? He's like, nigga, I tell your mama you ain't shit. So I took it to another level. I said, I'll tell your mama's mama you ain't shit, motherfucker. And when I said that, the room cleared out. The end result was, out of a room full of 12 to 14 people, only 3 of them were in there. It was the rainbow guy that was like, they ain't ready for you, boo. Your time coming, baby. With his little bow tie. And it was the urban sister. She was like, that was good. That was real good. And it was one of the 2 people that I initially connected with. She was like, I like it. She was like, it's just the wrong time. And I blew my opportunity to be in Wilhelmina Talent. But I mean, I'm not sweating it, but it's just something that happened, you know what I'm saying? And it was a decision that I made. And they really weren't ready for me at that time.